So if you've been anywhere near the internet in the last year, you saw the headline.
Oh, you couldn't miss it.
You really couldn't. Woman's wedding destroyed by groom's secret wife. It just, it exploded.
And that story, which we now know was chronicled in just painful detail by the bride, Elena Morrison, is so much more than just viral drama.
Right. This is a 4-year, intensely documented narrative. It's about systemic deception that just, it imploded 15 minutes before the ceremony.
So today we're diving deep into Elena's source material. We're talking legal documents, private investigator notes, her personal diary.
All of it.
To really understand the architecture of this con, we're looking at how one man, James Herrera, maintained multiple fully operational lives.
Multiple lives built on lies, bigamy, and just astonishing financial fraud.
Across several states, too.
That's our mission today. To understand the mechanics, how does someone build a facade so convincing? You know, a $47,000 wedding, an 18-month planning process, only to have it all collapse.
In a single afternoon.
In a single afternoon. This is a deep dive into the wreckage, both financial and emotional, and the massive secrets that were only unearthed when the whole thing detonated.
And what's crucial to grasp right from the start is that James used trust as his primary weapon. The whole thing relied on Elena having absolutely no reason to suspect him.
So she wouldn't verify the minimal proof he provided.
Exactly.
Okay, let's start there. Let's unpack the foundation of the lie, that 4-year relationship. Elena meets James Herrera.
And he's perfect on paper. Charming, successful commercial real estate agent.
The relationship moves pretty fast, but it seems solid. They move in together, he proposes, after 2 years.
And then they spend a year and a half planning this huge wedding.
Which is an intentional move.
Oh, absolutely. It locks the victim into a future. It increases the sunk cost, both financially and emotionally.
And her parents contributed $15,000 toward that $47,000 total.
A detail that just becomes heartbreaking later when you see how many people were financially tangled up in this.
So the very first layer of the con, the moment the deception really gets locked in, is when James introduces the ex-wife's story.
This was essential. He had to have a store to account for any public records, any potential contact.
So what was the story?
He framed his first marriage to a woman named Michelle as ancient history. He said they married young, at 23, separated after just 18 months, and that the divorce was finalized way back in 2012.
Ancient history.
Yeah.
And he didn't just tell her this. He actually offered her documents. What did that look like? Why was it so convincing?
Well, he provided what we call surface-level verification. He shows her an old photo, a copy of the marriage certificate, and what looked like, initial court documents for a separation.
So to Elena, this looks like complete transparency.
Of course. Why would you hire an attorney to verify the final signature on a divorce, he said, happened a decade ago? You just wouldn't.
But the investigation later found that this whole story was built on a partial truth.
And that's what makes it so brilliant, in a terrifying way. The separation did happen in 2012. That part was true. But the divorce was never finalized. And this is where the systemic deception really kicks in. They reconciled sort of on and off, starting in 2015.
On and off?
They bought a house together in Oceanside. So for almost a decade, the ex-wife was actually his current legal wife of 16 years.
And he lived with her part-time.
Yes. So he wasn't lying about the separation, just the resolution. By telling her a piece of verifiable history, he secured her trust for the much, much bigger lie he was currently living.
It effectively proofed his lie against any kind of casual investigation.
Precisely.
So the foundation was set. But every con has a detonation point. And for Elena, that came at 3:45 p.m. on her wedding day.
Just 15 minutes before she was supposed to walk down the aisle.
The scene she describes is just visceral.
Oh.
She's in her Vera Wang gown, final touches, and the wedding coordinator, Bethany, comes in.
And says Michelle is here with an attorney.
It's the ultimate contrast, right? The white dress, all hope and future, meeting the navy pantsuit, which is just cold, hard, legal reality.
And Elena walks out thinking she's going to confront a jealous ex making a scene. But Michelle didn't come to argue.
No, she came armed.
She needed incontrovertible proof to end the bigamy, the fraud, everything right there for her own legal protection as much as for Elena's.
So let's start with the bigamy. What did she physically present?
First, the original marriage certificate from 2008. But second, and this was the kill shot, a notarized letter from the San Diego County Clerk's Office.
Dated when?
Just 4 days before the wedding. And it confirmed, in black and white, that no record of a divorce filing existed for James and Michelle Herrera.
It wasn't that he forgot to file. He was actively legally married.
Right, and then she had to prove the marriage was active. So she pulls out current utility bills, joint bank statements, all addressed to James and Michelle at that Oceanside house.
Proving it wasn't just a legal formality. It was an active partnership.
But that wasn't the real gut punch.
The financial fraud.
That's where his motivation becomes crystal clear. Michelle, through her attorney, reveals that James was using stolen funds from their joint accounts to pay for Elena's wedding deposits.
And the engagement ring. Wait, can we just pause on the ring for a second? The $18,000 symbol of their love.
Was financed by forging Michelle's signature on a second mortgage.
On the house he owned, with the woman standing right there in front of her.
Yes, the symbol of love was actually a product of stolen equity and a criminal forgery. This is liquidation, using fraud to sustain a fantasy.
And when James finally shows up in his tuxedo, he sees the papers and just crumbles.
It was over. He immediately confessed, "We never finalized it, the divorce."
And in that moment, Elena realizes all those monthly business trips to San Diego
Weren't business trips at all. He was just living his other life with his wife. The whole relationship, every promise was just a mechanism for theft.
The horror doesn't stop there, though.
Right.
This is where it shifts from a personal disaster to a full-blown multi-state fraud investigation.
Right. Elena's attorney, Patricia Lim, who's a fraud specialist, she teams up with Michelle's attorney, Robert Chen. And what they uncover is it's a web of exploitation far greater than anyone imagined.
This is where we move from personal betrayal to organized criminal activity.
The sheer audacity of his schemes is really revealed when you look at the financials the attorneys dug up.
Okay, let's start with the money Elena lost directly, outside the wedding. The investment fraud.
Right. Elena had invested $30,000 in what James claimed was a commercial property deal. He'd even set up a fake LLC for it.
A fake LLC.
A complete ghost company. And the property he listed in the documents, it had been sold to a different company back in 2019, long before he even pitched the investment to her.
So that $30,000 just vanished.
To his personal slush fund.
Well,
And all while planning their wedding and using her money.
and the lie about his career, the foundation of his whole identity.
That is just astonishing. The investigation found he was fired 8 months before the wedding for embezzlement.
8 months, and he kept up the charade.
For 8 full months, he got up, got dressed, and pretended to go to work every single day. He was spending that time executing these other schemes. It requires a pathological level of control.
And meanwhile, he was burning down every asset he had left.
That's the classic sign. A con artist running out of time and money. He stopped paying the mortgage on the condo he shared with Elena 3 months before the wedding.
Okay.
He completely drained the $60,000 joint retirement fund he had with Michelle. And of course, the forged mortgage on the Oceanside house.
And he even fabricated a future asset, right? The Tahoe house?
Yes. Promised her a vacation home, showed her closing documents. Patricia Lim, her attorney, confirmed they were totally fake. The down payment money was just gone.
So his job, his savings, his home, his future plans, every single part of his life was an illusion.
An illusion designed to keep the victim invested until the last dollar was gone.
And here's the thing. He wasn't just doing this to Elena and Michelle. The investigation started to reveal a pattern.
This is what proves it wasn't a one-time thing. It was an operational strategy. The attorneys found 2 other long-term romantic victims.
Who were they?
First, a woman named Sarah in Portland from 2017 to 2018. James borrowed $50,000 from her for another fake business venture.
And what happened?
She realized it was a fraud, filed a civil suit, but he settled out of court so fast, and he made her sign an NDA to keep it all quiet.
An NDA, that's a huge red flag.
Massive. And the second victim only came forward after the wedding story went viral.
Right. Teresa in Phoenix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Involved with him from 2020 to 2021. She saw the news, called Robert Chen immediately, and confirmed the exact same playbook. The divorced story, the fake business deals, all of it.
And then the discovery that must have been the ultimate gut punch for everyone. The child.
A woman named Rebecca in Denver, they found she has a 6-year-old daughter, Emma.
His daughter.
His daughter. He sends maybe $500 a month sporadically and had concealed her entire existence from both his wife and his fiancé.
He wasn't just abandoning women. He was neglecting his own child to maintain the facade.
It puts everything into a terrifying new context.
So after all this evidence is collected, Elena decides to have one final recorded confrontation with him. She wanted an explanation.
And this is where you see the final, desperate act of emotional manipulation. He claims Elena was the only real thing in his life, that he kept thinking he could fix it after the wedding.
What was his reason? His grand explanation for years of lies.
It was easier to lie. I'm a coward.
A coward. That's the ultimate deflection. It shifts blame from criminal intent, fraud, forgery to just personal weakness. It's a plea for sympathy.
Exactly. While at the same time, his life is legally collapsing.
What's he facing right now?
A total breakdown. Michelle's pressing charges for the forged mortgage. The DA's office is looking at fraud, forgery, embezzlement, potential bigamy. Teresa is moving forward with fraud charges.
And Rebecca, the mother of his child.
Pursuing full custody and all the child support he's missed. And Elena. She's out her $30,000 investment and another $32,000 in non-refundable wedding deposits.
But James had one last move. A letter delivered by his parents.
The final act of gaslighting. In the letter, he claims Michelle and Teresa are lying, or at least exaggerating.
He's trying to discredit all the evidence.
He offers to take a polygraph. He claims he was going to tell Elena everything after the honeymoon, that he just needed one perfect day with her. It's designed to plant that one seed of doubt.
And this brings us to the ultimate heartbreaking dilemma for Elena. A secret she has kept from everyone.
It's a stunning revelation, and it changes the entire ethical equation for her.
She's pregnant.
6 weeks pregnant with James's child. They'd gone off birth control right before the wedding, planning to start a family.
So now she has to somehow reconcile the loving partner who seems so excited for their future with the monster in these documents. The man who systematically defrauded women and abandoned his other daughter, Emma.
The dilemma is profound. Does a shared child compel her to seek that one last dangerous bit of closure? Or does she have a moral duty to cut all ties and protect her unborn child from him?
And maybe most critically, given his history of concealment and abandonment, does he even have a right to know about this baby?
That choice is the core takeaway. The whole con worked because it blended just enough truth with these massive layered lies.
And that leads to a bigger question, right? When someone like James weaves this dense, systemic web of fraud, was the affection he showed Elena real? Or was the love itself just the final, most effective layer of the con?
Was it an authentic, though corrupted, emotion, or was it just a tool to keep the victim invested until the money ran out?
It forces you to wonder if a person like that is capable of genuine connection at all.
Before we wrap up, think about the advice Michelle gave Elena, the first wife.
She texted her.
She texted her and said, he's going to say just enough truth mixed with lies to make you doubt yourself. Don't.
And Michelle would know. She lived it for 16 years.
She understands the power of that final, desperate lie.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to explore. What is it, psychologically, that makes people so vulnerable to believing that one last flicker of hope, that final lie, even after all the evidence, all the documents, and all the victims are telling you otherwise?
It's the conflict Elena is living right now, and it's a testament to the powerful, destructive nature of a well-executed con.